Hello, everybody, and welcome to the White Hatter YouTube News Show. I'm Brandon.
And I'm Darren.
Let's get into some news topics, shall we?
In the news.
First news topic is iRobot, Roomba.
Roomba. Oh, no,
Looks
that's
to be
dancing.
purchased
Okay.
by Amazon.
You mean the vacuum?
Yeah, the vacuum.
Okay, gotcha.
Amazon's looking to buy the company that makes a smart vacuum cleaner that many people have. And a lot of folks are worried about the data being collected and Amazon using that. Because Amazon would then own Ring.
Yep.
And then iRobot, Roomba.
Yep. Yeah.
So Amazon's looking to control the home smart device market, looks like.
Or to corner it. Not control it, but corner the market.
Well, potato.
Ooh, spade or shovel. Now, this is interesting, right? Because depending upon the Roomba you're using and how you connect it, because there are some Roomba models that connects to the internet. So therefore, information obtained, i.e. the mapping of your house, potentially could be uploaded to Amazon, correct?
Yeah, there's a couple things. So Roombas don't need to be connected to the internet to work, but to use the full functionality that it offers, it does.
So that comes to the argument with convenience of using the app and technology comes vulnerability, primarily to our privacy, right?
Now, by default, if you connect your Roomba to the internet to use all its features, what it does collect is information on how long it cleans for, how long did it run for, and did it encounter any errors along the way. Now, Roomba does keep a map of your house in its computer built inside of it. If you enable to view your house floor plan Roomba collects from your phone, then that room house layout is sent to the cloud.
Gotcha.
So
that's an opt-out issue, right?
It's an opt-in.
Okay.
It's an opt-in if you allow it to view on your phone. So if you just buy Roomba right away, it's not like Amazon if it goes through and buys this for $1.7 billion. It's not like Amazon immediately has all your house details. You have to connect it to Wi-Fi and enable your phone to see your house plan.
Have you seen the TikTok videos of cats riding these things?
Yes.
It's hilarious. They've even got some with cats, and then they Photoshop in laser beams coming from the cat and stuff. I mean, it's hilarious, right? So interesting.
I mean, if Roomba was a company in of itself, collecting your house map data, okay, sure, kind of weird, kind of unsettling, but now Amazon has that? Ugh. Next up is Facebook is testing end-to-end encryption.
Bad idea. You and I argue about this all the time, but anyways, continue.
Facebook is testing end-to-end encryption and encrypted backups in its default messenger. So Facebook owns WhatsApp, which does have end-to-end encryption.
Yes.
Now they're looking to kind of port end-to-end encryption in its default Facebook Messenger, which I think is a great idea because...
I don't. I mean, there's just some research that just came out last week that when it comes to issues surrounding sextortion, one of the top 3 sites that are being used is Instagram, right? So if all of a sudden they move to end-to-end encryption, then how is that going to allow law enforcement now to track and identify these individuals, right? Like they would
still be able to track. They wouldn't be able to see the messages via a warrant.
But you need that for evidence in court.
Yeah, but if a person is being targeted for anything, they screenshot the messages.
Yeah,
and
but
then
what the courts are saying is that screenshots aren't necessarily good enough anymore because of issues surrounding, changing the hashes and all that kind of stuff, right?
Well, some courts are saying it is good enough.
I know, but
it depends on which court you go to.
Yeah, the other issue with this, Brandon, is that this gives Facebook more deniability not to take action on these issues, right? Because now they can say, well, we didn't know that any of this was happening with the young person because it's fully encrypted, right? Like it's just, I think it's another way for them to kind of escape liability issues associated with those who want to prey upon our kids for child sexual abuse material on this platform. So that's why I'm not a big supporter of end-to-end encryption on the bigger platforms like Facebook, Instagram.
It's not like any company takes responsibility anyways for anything bad that happens on the platform.
That needs to change as well.
It's like internet service providers.
I know that needs to change.
They don't like this. If internet service providers or cell phone providers, if they are held responsible for people sending you an abusive or scam message.
Oh, you're getting me lit up now. Yeah. There's a meme out there with the hair on fire. You just got my hair on fire. Yeah. We helped a client, as you know, earlier this year, who was being targeted on their cell phone. They were being sent messages, right? Okay. Where they were clear violation of the internet service providers, the cell phone companies' terms of service. Clear violations, right? We knew where it was coming from and who was doing it. So I connected with that internet service provider, the cell phone carrier, not important who, and said, hey, listen, who do I report this to? Because this is clear violations of your terms of service. Crickets.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I then sent other emails to other people saying, hey, listen, and who do we report this to? It's great that you have a terms of service, but what action are you taking when you find violations, and are you taking any action? Because one of the questions I asked them is, what kind of actions have you taken against people who have violated your terms of service? Crickets, right? So not only is it the platforms like Meta, Snapchat, TikTok that need to be held accountable, but I do believe, like you stated, that internet service providers also need to take some responsibility, right? But right now, they use the Section 230 in the United States, the safe harbors regulations, which Canada has a similar law up here to hide behind to remove third-party liability.
But even if a safe harbor is removed, if they have no knowledge of what's happening on their platform, then...
Yeah, but what happens if it is brought to their attention and they do nothing now? Well, then they can now be held accountable.
But if they encrypt everything, then it's not like they have to have a bot that scans everything.
Maybe.
They are basically
Maybe not, right? But what if the person now connects with us because they were targeted on the platform, they screen captured everything, so we can now prove that, hey, listen, they were using their platform. Yeah. We bring it to their attention, and then they still do nothing about it.
True.
Well, if we start hitting them with multi-million-dollar lawsuits, guess what? It's going to cause change. Because until such time as we start hitting these social media vendors and internet service providers in the pocketbook where it counts, they are not going to change their ways.
Well, here's what if I were a corporate lawyer, here's what I like. Yeah, okay, you reported it.
Heaven forbid.
It's currently in progress, right? Unless there's legislation that indicates that if something's brought to your attention, you have to deal with it within these many weeks, months, or days. All these companies have to do is it's currently under investigation.
Well,
but they never get around to because they don't have enough moderators. They can't hire enough moderators to moderate every.
That's their problem. That's their problem. It shouldn't be our problem. And I do agree with you, Brandon.
But it's a free platform.
Yeah, but it may be a free platform, but this is where government comes into play to put in legislation like they're doing in places like Great Britain and Europe right now to put more onus on these vendors to say, hey, listen, start policing yourselves because you've proven that you can't do it. Well, so you know what? We're going to do it for you. And if you don't, we're going to hit you with huge fines. And we may even be able to block your ability to access our country, right? Like they
are policing by using artificial intelligence.
No, they're not. They're not
to do the best that they currently can.
They're not. They're not doing a good enough job, Brandon. So they just aren't.
I agree. It's not enough, but they do have systems in place. So what you're looking for is legislation.
Window dressing. Lipstick on a pig.
You're looking for legislation that basically indicates a timeline of when a report comes to them. It has to be dealt with because all they have to say is investigation pending.
Yeah.
And they need a measurement of report success, whatever that means.
Most acts, like a good example, the police act when I was policing, that's exactly what they did. They had time frames that you had to fulfill certain responsibilities, and if you didn't, you were in violation, right?
Yep.
So the same thing can happen. But, what these companies are doing right now, and some of them, especially when it comes to internet service providers, will go, well, you know what, but we're doing huge public education on the issues of sextortion and internet safety. Lipstick on a pig. Right? It's great that you're doing that. But, some of these companies in Canada, because Canada has some of the highest cell phone rates in the world, are making billions of dollars in profit, right? So, you know what? We need to start hitting them where it counts. And until such time as we do that, then there's no impetus for change, right? So anyways, okay, my hair's on fire. Oh, way to go.
Next article, going back into Amazon, dozens of Whole Foods store will let you pay with your palm print, which is Whole Foods owned by Amazon. Yeah. Amazon has the technology to wave your palm and it scans you and you can pay via your palm print.
Magic. Yeah, it's not as if some people are going, what, they're putting chips in you. No, they're not.
No.
They're using a specific light that they can see your veins in the palm of your hand to create basically a fingerprint of your hand using your veins, which are unique to you.
Yeah.
But when I read this, or other people going online going, because with convenience comes vulnerability. There's no doubt this is convenient because really you don't need to have your credit cards with you or anything like that, right?
More convenient than just tapping the pay with your phone to use Apple Pay or something?
What happens if you forgot your phone, right? Like, how many times have I gone to places?
If you forgot your phone.
Well, I mean, I don't know, but there are times where you go out to buy something and you forget. But where I'm going with this,
by that chance, you've probably forgotten your driver's license. You have a bigger problem to deal with.
I know. I don't like this.
I agree.
I'm not going to use it. And so some people will say, well, but Darren, what about your iPhone that uses facial recognition, right? Biometrics, much like this is. Here's the difference. The facial recognitions is sandboxed and stays on this phone. It doesn't get uploaded to Apple.
Yeah, Apple has their security chip on their phone, where the data is stored.
What this does is it uploads your biometrics into the Amazon cloud, so Amazon cloud now has the biometric. Do I want a company like Amazon to start storing biometrics of me? No.
Yeah, is it that much more convenient? Because you're probably on your phone texting, watching TikTok in the checkout line anyways.
I agree.
So it's just tap.
Yeah, just tap. Right? Like I just, yeah. No.
It's probably more work to put your phone back in your pocket to then scan your palm print.
For me, this is a hard no.
Yeah.
What about you?
I agree. No, Apple Pay or any kind of cell phone pay system is probably just as easy as scanning your palm print.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Callback phishing sees a massive 625% growth since Q1 of 2021.
What's this all about?
So, according to a cybersecurity intelligence report from Argry, basically there has been an increase in callback phishing scams.
Oh.
So basically, you would receive a scam email or message or text, but normally scams will have a link that sends you to a fake website, which then exploits you somehow. Well, what we're seeing an increase of is you get a message that says an invoice for a couple $100s, and you go, oh, wait, I didn't do that. But instead of a link, it will give you a phone number to call back, because you have to expect that if you click on a malicious link, either your browser might detect it, your antivirus, if you have one, or you just might notice that the web link you're going to is not the right web link.
Right.
So I can see why this can be successful, because if you get a fake message, you give a phone call, you're far more likely going to believe a human voice, I would think, than just some random website.
Yeah.
And now there's another opportunity to further convince you of the scam.
Yeah, for sure. Like there's no doubt that the human touch when it comes to pretexts and scams is always easier than the digital touch, right? Like there's no doubt about it. So
yeah. And so what we saw here was the on the phone, the scammer would try to get you to install a malicious piece of program or steal sensitive information from you. Yeah, so interesting to see an increase in that.
yeah, for sure. And this kind of segues into the next topic that we want to talk about that we just posted on our Facebook page. And over the past couple of days now, we have helped several clients who follow us on Facebook and other social media platforms connect with us to say, hey, Darren, I've lost control of my Facebook page. I've lost control of my phone number. And so we started to do some research, and it all came down to this new Facebook marketplace and Craigslist or Fajiji scam, what's going on, right? So
Fajiji.
whatever it's called.
Fajiji.
Yeah, that's it. Fajiji. What was I thinking about? I was thinking about a tropical place when I said that. Anyways, so what happens is you will put an item up for sale on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, and then all of a sudden you'll immediately start getting replies back going, yeah, really interested in this, but you know what? I've been ripped off a couple of times on Facebook Market, and I'm really concerned about being scammed here. How about if you can give me a call, right? So they or send me a text to let me know that it's you, right? So they actually provide a cell phone number, and then you text them back, and then all of a sudden they'll go, okay, great. Just to confirm you are a real person, can you please take a screen capture of this code that I just sent you and send it back to me, right? Well, as soon as they do that, they now can link your phone number, your cell phone number, to a Google Voice number that they now control, and then they can now use that that number and that phone number that they're now controlling to reset forgot my passwords. You know, if you forget your password on Facebook or whatever, there's a way to do it, and they use your phone number because a lot of people are registering using your phone number, and so now they're able to go in and change username and passwords and lock you out of these accounts, or now use that phone number for the purposes of other criminality. So being aware of this is a big, big deal, right? And so the important message here is that there's no reason why you need to provide anybody with your cell phone number. Like, if you're going to do any kind of dickering or, you know, negotiating, do it all via the message platform on Marketplace or on Craigslist or Kijiji, right? Like, just don't do that. And if you ever receive a security code that was not initiated by you, never, ever, ever share it with anybody, right? Like, don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen this is obviously exploiting the two-factor authentication method where they send you a basic text message to confirm. A lot of banks do this now by default. Two-factor is a great security precaution, but we are seeing scammers and hackers get around two-factor.
Good point.
If it's from text messaging. There were some Android viruses that were going around that it would read your text messages, and what it would try and do is, let's say your bank sends you a security code when you want to log in. Well, it would log in with your name and password, but it prompts you for a code. But the virus would read your text messages to grab the code. Or we have seen other message scams where someone will, basically the same kind of pretext here is, can you send me the code that was sent to you? And then they use that to log into your bank where they have your password now. So, or
your Instagram account. So we posted this on our Facebook page. And what's our Facebook page, Brenda?
Just the White Hatter.
The White Hatter on Facebook, where we kind of talk about this more in detail. But it is it's a clear and present threat that is trending right now on places like Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, Kijiji.
Fiji.
That's what I was thinking of. Warm tropical place. So head over to our Facebook page, and while you're there, don't forget to follow us on our Facebook page as well. Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And that does it for our show today.
Hey, how was your week off last week?
It was good.
What did you do?
Not a whole lot.
Yeah, that's kind of good, right? Because you were doing so much work. It was good for you to take a week off. I promised that I wouldn't connect with you, but we had to connect with you once over an issue that had to be dealt with. So thank you very much for doing that. So did you play a lot of video games?
I did some, yeah.
Yeah, good. You love doing that, right? A way to kind of break. So what do you got going on now?
Just prepping for the new school season coming up in about a couple weeks.
We've already got over 40 programs now booked, starting in a couple of weeks.
40? It's just, wow.
This is the most we've ever had pre-booked prior to school season starting. It's like we're booking into January right now. Like, we've got, I think, 4 or 5 programs already booked for January. Like, it's unbelievable, which is kind of really cool. The message is getting out, and being able to do it virtually now, I think, is another reason why we're getting so much more interest, because there's just huge cost savings by doing things virtually than flying us in, or however we're going to get in. And we can get pretty close to doing what we do virtually using the studio that we have here.
I think using graphics and effects makes it even better.
Right. And again, what we do is not Zoom, it's not Teams, it's our own platform that you developed. It's kind of Frankenstein together.
Yeah, we just do it here in the studio.
Right? Which is kind of really cool, right? So I'm really looking forward to the new school year. I think the first one we got coming up is with a Pro D for teachers the week before school starts, where we're going to get teachers all educated on what kids are presently doing in social media, and also, number 2, how they can protect themselves from students who are using social media to target them, but more importantly, how to protect their license, because teachers are losing their licenses and being fired at increasing rates because of things that they're doing in social media, both on and, more importantly, off the job. Right?
Very much so.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Thank you all so much, and we'll see you all next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.